What up, my dudes, and welcome back to another Movie Monday. So, this week I am sharing with you a really weird movie I found on TUBI TV that really piqued my interest. So the movie's called Unhinged. It's from 2017. And right away, I'm going to tell you that I was like, I don't even want to watch this. Because, like, you know when you read a synopsis and it's like, girls getaway, bachelorette party. I'm like, oh, this is going to be awful. It's just like initially when I'm thinking, I'm like, this is going to be cheese, right? Well filmed, number one. Number two, the premise, pretty freaking good. It got me. For a newer, like, lower budget film, super well done. I highly suggest you guys see this one. So this one starts out, it's all these girls, they're in this car and they're like, yeah, like we're getting away to like the countryside night before a wedding. And like they're all pretty tight, I guess. And like the girl's sister's with her and two other friends, I think. Three other friends. I don't know. It gets confusing sometimes in these. Anyways, they stop at a gas station. And there's this guy inside, and it's the bride who's paying, and she just sees this dude who reminds me of the character from Drive of Ryan Gosling, okay? And he's just all scruffy, but like still kind of like babe, and he's just kind of standing there. She's like, do you need some money for gas? And like hooks him up, you know, does the good deed, gets in her car, drives off, whatever. Later on, so I want to say it's like the following day, or maybe it's the same, because I don't know, it seems like night. Maybe they're driving all night, who knows? Anyways, they end up running into this guy again, okay? Fucked up scenario. So they're driving, and like, his car is just parked in front of them. They're like, why doesn't he want to move? They're on like an old country road kind of thing. And one of the girls gets out, she's so tough, and she's like, blah, you better move your car, and shit just goes ham, okay? So I'm gonna spoil this a bit. The whole premise, there is no whole premise, you know what I mean. This guy basically tries offing them, but they end up killing him. So it's kind of like, what do? Now you got a dead body, it's your wedding tomorrow. They pop him in the trunk, but they're like freaking out, right? They're all freaking out. They're like, we don't know what to do. So they go up to like this country house, and there's this quirky lady, and you know, they're like, hey ma'am, do you have gas? Like we ran out of gas or whatever, and we need some help. And she's like, no, I don't got that, but like my gardener does. So like if you guys want to like stay and have tea or like stay over, like I could definitely accommodate you that way. So it's all about this, right? Because they stay there, classic, you know, home in the middle of nowhere. Trusting stranger. Let's be real. You don't do it. Like, just stay in your car. Just stay in your car in the middle of the woods. You're probably better off. And this lady, there's been so many spooky, I find, like, older women, like the Taking a Deborah Logan characters recently. And I'm just like, oh, she's so good. Like, her persona, you almost feel it right away. It's almost like, okay, she's really kind, maybe borderline bipolar. Like you kind of see these crazy mood switches and you're like, okay, but guys, there's still a body in their trunk, right? So their idea is, okay, well, this lady's in the middle of nowhere, we may as well like bury him somewhere here. I'm gonna fast forward a bit, because the coolest thing about this movie is it really kind of throws you off, right? Because you're like, okay, well, they got rid of the first culprit who would probably be the killer, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden you have them like, they're at home, they start hearing, or at home at this lady's house, and they start hearing like these demonic voices. And what happens is a killer appears wearing a messed up old grandpa mask, wearing a wedding dress with big blue like latex gloves. Right there. I was just like, what? So my whole, you know what I mean? This whole fixation of like, oh, this is gonna be like a shitty bachelorette, blah, blah, blah. I was like, all right, I'm in. You've reeled me in completely. So basically this is the killer, is this crazy person going around with this old man face in a wedding dress with freaking blue rubber gloves. And I just have to say, the suspense in this film, usually lower budget films don't do that well with it. They do so freaking good with it. And also the way they mess with the sound in it is kind of phenomenal, because I'm a big fan. Yes, you can have a wicked soundtrack or whatever going on behind, but films that know how to minimalize sound, so you get this ambiance kind of thing, and it gets really quiet. And yes, they hit you with like the jump scares in this is actually pretty freaking good. And I'm telling you, this movie still goes in like weird ways. You're like, what just happened? Anyways, the ending's kind of cheese, but in a good way. And I found it was a really solid treat of a film for something newer, right? I'm always looking for who's been making wicked films recently in the last, I don't know, this many. To me, 2000s is like new, if that makes sense to you guys. So yeah, I'm basically on the hunt for the good shit. And this was like, I was happy with it. And I think that honestly, the torture scenes in it, so tense. And like, just the character itself that they took on, like, I want this to be the role. But also the woman, I don't want to give away too much. I'm already like quieting about it, because I think you guys should really see it. And I'd love to know what you guys think about this one, because I was really like, okay, you got me, you know? I'm sitting in the back of my head like, oh, these are just a bunch of pretty girls, or like, I got sliced up and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, like they did good. Even like the acting was like pretty damn good, you know? Like they have senses of humor to some extent, and like they're actually tough. Like it was a different vibe. The whole movie was a different vibe, and I'm so happy I saw it. Anyways, I'll shut up. You guys have a great rest of your Monday. I'm gonna get back to work. I epoxied a bunch of these masks, which will be available online in like the next 2 days. I gotta let these dry and then take some spooky pictures and post that. Anyways, I'll calm down. Have a wicked one, and we'll see you guys soon. If you're not subscribed yet, do it. And if you are, welcome back. Okay, bye.